Good afternoon. I'm Nerissa Sandy with WEFM's 3 p.m. news for today, the 29th of December, the final Friday in 2023. In the news and on the local scene, following recent high-level dialogue between the governments of Guyana, Venezuela, and other CARICOM heads here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines over a dispute about the mineral-rich Essequibo border region. Tensions are now high as Venezuela leader Nicolas Maduro ordered Venezuela's armed forces to conduct defensive exercises in the Eastern Caribbean. This new development, according to Caribbean Media Corporation, comes after the United Kingdom sent a warship toward Guyana's territorial waters as the South American neighbors dispute a large border region. In a nationally televised address on Thursday of this week, Maduro was quoted as saying by Conan News that 6,000 Venezuelan troops, including air and naval forces, will conduct joint operations off the nation's eastern coast near the border with Guyana. President of Guyana, Dr. Irfan Ali, meanwhile stated that neither Venezuela nor any other state has anything to fear from activities within Guyana's sovereign territory or waters. He gave the assurance as the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela on Thursday rejected the deployment of the British naval ship HMS Trent to the coastal waters of Guyana. The talks held recently between both countries were brokered by Prime Minister Dr. Raul Gonsalves, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who is also head of the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, CELAC, and the Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva in an effort to settle tensions between both countries. Prime Minister Gonsalves has not yet issued an official statement on this recent development. A warning has been issued to persons here to desist from posting and or sharing the explicit video depicting a young female, preteen or early teen being gang raped. The notice comes from the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, who in an official release said it is prosecutable to circulate or share videos of this nature on social media and that the perpetrator or perpetrators can be charged with multiple offenses under the Cybercrime Act of 2016. According to the release, a person who commits child pornography under Section 14 of the Cybercrime Act of 2016 will be charged, convicted to a fine of $300,000 or 7 years imprisonment, or to both, convicted on indictment to a fine of $750,000 or face up to 20 years of imprisonment or both. It further states that any person who commits the act of sexual harassment by electronic communication, Section 16, will also be charged, fined $100,000 or face up to 20 years of imprisonment. Authorities indicated that circulating such videos re-victimizes and re-traumatizes the victim. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force is calling on the culprit or culprits circulating this video to stop immediately or face prosecution. It also says that anyone with information is encouraged to contact any police officer they are comfortable speaking with or the officer in charge of the Criminal Investigations Department, the CID, at 71211 extension 4856, 4837, or 4859, and also the Major Crime Unit. All information received will be treated confidentially, and the investigation into the matter is ongoing. Still on the local scene, Minister of Finance Camilo Gonsalves will deliver the budget address when Parliament convenes in the new year. A release from the Department of the Clerk of the House of Assembly says the House of Assembly will meet at the temporary Parliament building in Caligua on January 8, 2024 for the commencement of the budget session. Her Excellency, the Governor General, Dame Susan Duggan, will deliver the throne speech. Parliament is expected to begin at 4 o'clock. In the region, a man residing in Trinidad and Tobago was today sentenced to 14 days of simple imprisonment after he called the E999 emergency hotline, threatening to kill Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and Police Commissioner Erla Harewood Christopher. According to Caribbean Media Corporation, Magistrate Alexander Prince, sitting at the Couva Court in central Trinidad, imposed the sentence on Ian Sukram after he was charged with misuse of the telephone, contrary to Section 106A of the Summary Offences Act. Sukram had threatened to behead Prime Minister Rowley and the top cop. The court heard that Sukram, who pleaded guilty to the charge, had on November 25th this year at about 1:39 a.m. local time called the E999 emergency hotline and made the threats against Rowley and Harewood Christopher. Still in the region, the government of Dominica is seeking parliamentary approval for geothermal energy plant funding. The proposed move, according to Kana News, will sanction the finance minister, Dr. Irvin McIntyre, to take a critical step in finding a substantial bank agreement from the National Bank of Dominica, amounting to some 13.5 million EC dollars. The government highlighted that the funds are essential to fulfill the commitments chartered in the project financing agreement signed recently. It was formally inked earlier this month on the sidelines of the United Nations Climate Change Conference held in Dubai. And finally, on the international scene, Israel Defense Force launches widespread strikes in South Lebanon after barrages of Hezbollah rockets. According to the Times of Israel, drones were also shot down over northern Israel as violence along Israel's northern border appeared to intensify amid its ongoing war against Hamas in Gaza. The IDF was quoted as saying it intercepted drones midday yesterday, Thursday, that entered from Lebanon, noted that a second drone alert incident had ended without concern of a security threat. Several sections in the city have been largely evacuated since the start of the war. No injuries were reported. This brings us to the end of WEFM's 3 p.m. news for today, the final Friday in the year 2023. On behalf of the entire news team here at WEFM, my name is Nerissa Sandy. Our next newscast will be aired at 5:30 this evening. Thank you for listening.